Mastering Speechcraft, a blueprint to build membership. In this segment, you will understand the fundamentals of Speechcraft and its purpose. Master the 11 essential steps to running a successful Speechcraft series. Please join me in warmly welcoming Anne, a generously inspiring leader and mentor. Let's welcome Anne Golden.
Thank you, Louisa, for that introduction. Thank you. I am so excited to be here for District 96. It is an honor and privilege to be here to share this information with you tonight. As Jerry has been putting in chat, this is the cover page of the handout. Please open it up because in that you will find the 11 steps to a successful Speechcraft, and you may want to take notes as we're going through this. So in that handout, it's a combination of all my resources for you into one document that I think you will find useful in conducting your own Speechcraft. But I want you to be ready to take lots of notes because I'm a detail-oriented person, and there's a lot of detail in this presentation. So let's move forward, shall we? I begin with the concept of you're starting at zero. So I'm going to explain the fundamentals of Speechcraft for you. And basically, it is a short-term public speaking workshop designed by Toastmasters International to help participants to develop their communication and leadership skills. It's really built for non-members, and it's to benefit them and have them show interest to improve their own professional development. And it is Toastmasters has done a wonderful job with this program in that it is a structured learning environment, very much similar to our Toastmasters meeting. And it follows that structured format with agendas, there's table topics, speeches, and such. It's also hands-on learning, and we all value that because we know what that's about. Experience mentorship. What do I mean by that? It's your fellow Toastmasters that are going to help you to run these sessions. And they're going to bring their experience to help these participants, which are known as Speechcrafters, to mentor them in how to develop their speech writing skills and how to write a speech and body language and all those things that we get in our meetings every other week or every week. Participation in evaluations. The Speechcrafters will also do evaluations in the meeting. That's where the experience mentorship is going to come in at. They're going to show them how that is done. And we all know feedback is a critical element to our success as Toastmasters. And it's a very short-term format, 6 to 8 weeks. It's a 4, 6, or 8 week. I recommend the 8 weeks, but sometimes for time constraints, you can only do the 6 weeks, but it's short-term and it's fast-paced. The other thing, you can customize the content. So the Speechcraft program, as it is developed and written, and the agendas, they're basically developed for an 8-session seminar. However, if you don't have the time or your clients are not inclined to go 8 weeks and you need 6 weeks, you can make it adaptable and cover the topics that you need to cover that are relatable to your clients. And I'll get into that a little bit later about the content that you would cover in your Speechcraft session. What's the purpose of it? Short-term public educational speaking program. It's condensed, supportive, hands learning, safe environment, just like our Toastmasters meeting. The key to this is it's developing communication and leadership skills in a structured atmosphere like our Toastmasters meeting, and it builds confidence and competence in public speaking. But the other key to this is you are connecting with strangers. And in that short period of time, you have an opportunity to develop a community with those people so that they join your club. And you should keep that in the back of your mind in the forefront as you're going through your Speechcraft, because in Toastmasters, we can go anywhere for the education that we want. Think about why we stay with our clubs. We stay with our clubs because of the sense of community that we have with our fellow members. So as you are conducting your Speechcraft sessions, You want to be building that sense of community with these participants. Now, who would attend? I get that question a lot. Well, who am I going to invite? Who's going to join my club? Well, a lot of us came to a Toastmasters meeting on a short-term goal and wound up staying. I'm here 10 years come June, all right? But we all know someone who might be seeking a job interview, someone who you work with who has an important presentation to deliver maybe within the next couple of months. Or how about someone who's going to be giving a wedding toast, like a father or a maid of honor, best man? And also, unfortunately, what if someone has to deliver a eulogy at a funeral and they're petrified? They can attend your Speechcraft sessions in a short term and develop that confidence to get over the hump for this. But the beauty of it is you can turn them into members. Short term into long term. And that's your goal with a Speechcraft session. So let's get into it. How are you going to build your community and your membership growth? We all hold open houses and we know the success of the open house. I've been in several clubs, open house, you have an open house, you have 5, 10 people there. Some clubs are very lucky and they get 8 to 9 out of that to join their clubs. But most of us, how many of us have experience where maybe we get 1 or 2 from the open house to come back to a meeting? Can you raise your hand? Right? But you put all that time and effort and the money into the food, they come for the food. They don't come for the program. Well, with Speechcraft, you want to market it that they're coming for the program. And it's the club's #1 membership building tool. It is successful and it's proven because you have those people's undivided attention for those 8 weeks. And I call it Toastmasters' best kept secret. However, I have since added that Cheryl Roush and I are trying to make it the best known program in Toastmasters outside of the club. It is the best program. Toastmasters has put so much into this, oodles and oodles of resources. But tonight, what am I going to cover? I'm going to start with the basics. I'm going to cover the digital bundle. Some of you may know about that and how to go about it. I'm going to go into it for the benefits of those that may not know. I want to discuss the coordinator benefits from my perspective. I go into the planning, the pathways credit, and the resources that are available to you. What I do after each session is it's divided into these groups. I will stop after each section to ask for questions because there's a lot of material here. So there will be questions and answer period throughout. So say you can put your questions in chat, but try to keep in mind, keep your questions related to the topic that I'm talking about at this time, because I may answer that other question that's in the back of your mind a little later on. And if I don't, please feel free to put it in chat. All right, let's get into the digital bundle. All right, well, what's this all about? Who can buy it? Well, #1, you have to be a Toastmaster in good standing, and the club has to be in good standing. That means you as a member have to be updated on your membership, and the club has to have at least 8 members to be able to sponsor it. When you purchase the bundle, you get an order number. That is your access code. For every bundle you purchase, you're entitled to 5 participants. Toastmasters recommends for running the Speechcraft, where the coordinator ratio is that you have 1 coordinator for every 5 participants. Let's say you get 7 or 8, or you might be fortunate enough to get 10, and then you would give someone else the opportunity to be a coordinator to get credit for it. But let's say you only get 6 or 8. Why not recruit another Toastmaster and split the participants so that 2 Toastmasters can get credit in your club, yourself and another one, for being a Speechcraft coordinator? And the other thing about that is, even if you only have 1 Speechcrafter, I call to verify this with Toastmasters, you will get credit as a Speechcraft coordinator, even if you only have 1 attendee. So keep that in mind. You get all 5 and you dwindle down to 1. Don't worry about it. Continue your session because you will get credit for it. And there's the maximum. Just know, Toastmasters don't give refunds for no slots used. So you want to fill that slot if you can. And what I recommend is if you get your 4 people and you still can't fill that 5th slot with a non-member, think about a new member in your club. and slide them in that, because that will help them fast track on their pathways and will invigorate them and energize them. Believe me, when you see progress for yourself, aren't you energized? Don't you get motivated when you're getting close to finishing a level? It's like, I got one more to do. Oh, I can do that speech in the next month. That's what you want to do with your members. This is what's included in the bundle, and this is from the website. And Sherry will put in the link for the digital bundle website. And this is what's all included. I recommend this video by Mike Carr, our International 2020 champion speaker on vocal variety. It is a powerful, powerful video. I even learned some new things that I forgot about. It's a wonderful video. You notice I said new things that I forgot about. So if you forget about it, it's a new item, right? That's the way I look at it. So you want to refresh your own sense of vocal variety and how you can improve that. Let's move on to here. This is the important part about the purchase procedures. All right, payments. I checked with Toastmasters on this as well, because I've heard a lot of feedback about who can and can't purchase it. Toastmasters does not have a rule on who must pay for the bundle. It is, a member can purchase the bundle. But for transparency's sake and for best practices, if you do that, I recommend that you go through your club treasurer to be reimbursed. Let the club make the purchase and let it be transparent. I know some corporate clubs may not have bank accounts, maybe even some community clubs. So what do you do in that instance? Purchase it yourself, but be transparent in your own financial transactions that you can do item for item. For example, for the organization that I purchased it for, and the club sponsored it, my corporate club did not have a bank account. I purchased it. So when everybody paid me, I kept that as a separate line item in my books, so that if anybody came back, they could see that what the money was used for. You just want to show that you're ethical, because we are a nonprofit and we don't want to hurt our nonprofit status. The cost. The club doesn't pay for it. They get reimbursed by the participants. They pay for the tuition. The bundle is $10 per person. And for any material costs that you incur, you can charge the participants for that. All right. And you can also charge them up to 12 months of a TI membership dues. That's $120. I've been on the internet and on Facebook and on LinkedIn, and I see where some clubs charge $110, $115 for a Speechcraft, US dollars. I recommend 6 months, charge the $90. That's your $60 for the membership, $10 for the bundle for them to be a participant, $20 for the new membership fee, which is the purchase of their first pass. That's your $90. Now, if you have club dues, you could tack that on. If you are renting a space, if you're an in-person, you could subsidize that and charge them a little bit for the cost of the rental of the unit. But you cannot charge any more than $120. Toastmasters is telling you can do this. And you can use Speechcraft as a fundraiser for educational needs and purposes. Well, Anne, what do you mean by that? A fundraiser? We're not allowed to fundraise in Toastmasters. With Speechcraft, you can. By charging them the 6 months minimum or membership fee, if they don't join your club, that money is yours. You can use that for educational purposes for your club. You can use it to, if you have a district conference coming up in this spring, you can use it to subsidize a member to go to the conference. The Toastmasters International Convention is coming right here to the East Coast in August in Philadelphia. You could subsidize a member, give them some money towards that, or you can use it for buying educational things for the club, ribbons, things like that. But you can't use it for parties and food. We all know how we like to have parties in Toastmasters, right? But you can't use those funds for that. They're strictly geared for educational purposes. And as I said, the max is $120. This is a Speechcraft participant fee calculation sheet that is in your handout. I received this from Cheryl Rouse for when she was down in Africa. And this gentleman gives a very nice breakdown of how you can figure out what to charge your participants. It's he even tells you the venue and everything, so you can figure out what to charge. You are allowed to do that. I go into some detail about this because I think it's really important. And the reason for that is because I've seen an innocent post on Facebook earlier this year where someone was asking, they were going to do a Speechcraft and they wanted to know if anybody had an agenda to share with them. When you purchase the bundle, you use that order number to get access to the Speechcraft called a gateway. And in the gateway, you get behind, and behind the scenes is the portal where Toastmasters gives you oodles and oodles of resources to help you run this program. They give you the agendas, they give you the evaluation forms. Well, that's proprietary information. That's their trademark. It's their international intellectual property. You can download that. You can make a PowerPoint presentation from the slides that you see there and do all that to help you conduct the Speechcraft. That's only for your use. You cannot share that with another person. You can't give that material out. It's not yours to give to somebody else. And the reason why they make it so important about this is that prior to revising it to a digital program in 2022, anybody could buy Speechcraft and do a Speechcraft program. And they were taking Toastmasters intellectual property and using it to make money and charging for it to conduct their own programs. So they revised it to a digital service where only Toastmasters can purchase it. And it is a top-notch quality branded program. And it is powerful. And we shouldn't give it away for free. We need to get behind this program and sell it for what it is. It is powerful. People are changed. And if you heard Cheryl Rouse, you heard her say what brought her into Toastmasters 37 years ago was an invitation to a free breakfast for some type of seminar. It was Speechcraft. And she's still here 37 years, and look what she's done. All right, enough of that. Protocol 5.0, I just show you this to show you because there's questions, well, who can sponsor a Speechcraft? Areas, divisions, and districts cannot sponsor a Speechcraft. That means that you can't conduct it at that level. Can an area director, a division director, or a district director be a Speechcraft sponsor in their own club? Yes, but it has to be at the club level. The club must pay for it. You must get your members and your board to agree to have it and to run it from there. And that's why I show you this so that you understand who can sponsor the Speechcraft. Does that make sense? This is exciting. Now I got rid of all that boring stuff. And now I'm going to show you your benefits for being a Speechcraft coordinator. What's in it for you? Why would you want to do a Speechcraft, right? Well, number one, fulfills one of your requirements to achieve your Distinguished Toastmaster Award. You'll either have to do a youth leadership program, a Speechcraft, or a club sponsor. I believe that's it, right? Well, and I'm not even thinking about my DTM. I just started. Yes, exactly. But if you have an opportunity to check something off, why not take advantage of it and do it? If your club needs new members, why not be a coordinator? Why not take it on? It's a wonderful experience and check it off because are you a leader in your club? Have you held a district office? Well, you now have 2 of those qualifications for that DTM. You never know the check-offs. If you go, I joined Toastmasters in 2015. I had no desire to be a DTM. I joined for networking, for work. I got my DTM in 2020 because a mentor took interest in me and said, Anne, you know you can get your DTM by the time Pathways comes around because I had completed the speeches? You never know. So take advantage of what you can check off. The other thing, practice makes perfect, right? Well, it's going to improve your own communication and leadership skills, and it's going to make you more comfortable in your own skin. I know it did me. I still get nervous before I talk to strangers. Still, but I get better at it because I'm constantly putting myself out there to do it. And let me tell you, conducting a speechcraft, and I did it for 10 complete strangers, my nerves were a wreck every time, but I got comfortable at it. And it did improve. My communication improved, my leadership skills improved. I learned how to communicate better. The other thing in Toastmasters, I believe this, it's our job to pay it forward. We've had people mentor us for free. That's why we are where we're at today. Well, let's share that with those that don't know what they don't know and help them in their professional and personal development. And mentoring participants, you mentor them through their initial steps of public speaking and you help them grow. It's like that. It's like that newcomer that first came into your club that had no idea, and you took someone and you sat someone with them and showed them all the baby steps. And then when they get it and you see the light bulb goes off in their eyes, you feel so proud of them. Recognition and credibility, not just in Toastmasters, but in your own work environment. This is project management. All right. Recognition and credibility, district leaders will be starting to look at you for leadership roles. Oh God, I don't want to be part of the district leadership. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. It's a lot of fun. But even so, even in your professional world, you put that in your performance that you did that and you explain what it is, management's going to be looking at you. Fast track to promotion. And it reinforces your own knowledge and ability. And again, you're networking and you're community building and you're attracting new members. That is the biggest key of all and the biggest benefit. It is networking and community building. That's what we do best. Now I'm going into the planning portion. This is the fun part for me. Planning. Oh my God, I loved it.
So just before
And
you talk about that, Anne, someone
yes,
says, if I'm a member in good standing, can I purchase the program and use Teams to
oh,
engage with the
definitely.
members?
Definitely. Some corporations use WebEx. Different corporations use different virtual platforms because they feel they're more secure. And I know a lot of corporations use Teams. Yes, you can use Teams. I did mine virtual. I don't recommend doing it hybrid. Either do it virtual or do it in person. Does that answer that question?
Yes, thank you.
All right, fantastic. All right. Now, what I did was I created a timeline and I included that in your handout for you to use as a reference as well. Can you do it earlier? Yes, you can, because your own Speechcraft support chair, Tara, she put it together in two to 3 weeks, but she went crazy. I'll tell you that. She told me she did it, but it was crazy. You don't want to jam it in if you don't have to. You really want to plan for it because number one, you have to go and get your board to approve that you can conduct the Speechcraft, and then you need the members' buy-in. Why? Because you're going to need them to help you to conduct it. Then you have to purchase, and you need to review the material. Remember I said there's oodles and oodles of resources and materials behind the scenes that Toastmasters provides? Well, you need to look at that and review it. And you don't want to be pressured to review it. So you need to, that's why they say 6 to 8 weeks you need to prepare. And this is a guideline as to what you should be doing during that period. Again, it's just a guide and you would adjust it as you would go. I also have provided you a Speechcraft event preparation checklist, courtesy of my friend Fred Vornbrock, who's a DTM in District 13. He is their current program quality director. Last year, he was their club growth director. And we did some Speechcraft sessions together. And he put this together based on our best practice session that we did. So I've shared that with you. It's repetitive information presented in a different way from my slides. And then I put together a best practice based on what I'm telling you here today. All right. on what you need to do to prepare. And it matches up my timeline. And number 7 is a really key point: to reinforce Speechcraft as a communication educational program. When you advertise it, don't advertise it as Speechcraft. That's internal. People outside Toastmasters don't know what it is. Tell them it's a communication skills building seminar. That's real important. And I also give you a breakdown on how to charge. So they're my best practices that I came up with. And I understand Louisa from your district, she has something similar too that she has put together. So you have many resources available to you in District 96 to help you to understand all of this. And this goes into the planning. You need to decide whether you're going to have a 4, 6, or 8-week series. And how that's based on is, number 1, are you going to conduct it during your regular meetings? Or you're going to do it at another time? Will it be a 1-hour session or a 2-hour session? You need to establish the tuition costs. Now, the tuition cost is the same, but the reason why I say you need to decide your sessions is because I used to say do it outside your sessions and to have a 2-hour meeting. And I've changed that this year because you can't build a community if it's not done during your meetings. The key is you hold it during your meetings. Those participants get to know your members. You make it easier for your members to volunteer to take on those functionary roles at the Speechcraft sessions. They're going to be interacting and engaging with the Speechcrafters. What are you doing when you do that? You're building relationships. And when you're building relationships, you're building a community. I like to say, if someone doesn't like me in 8 weeks, they're never going to like me, and then I don't want them in my club because it's going to be conflict. And I never met anyone that I didn't like that was participating in a Speechcraft or Toastmasters, because we're all about professional development. You have such a golden opportunity to nurture that relationship. And plus, you're charging them for the membership that at the end of the sessions, they become members. And the last thing, the most important thing also, is reviewing all speech protocols and knowing your legal responsibility, and then to review the materials and explore the Speechcraft Gateway. That is going to take time. And you don't want to be overwhelmed with it. You want to take time and understand what you need to know, what you need to do. Toastmaster gives you all the instructions. They laid out for you. I loved it. You need to recruit your members. You need to start recruiting them at the same time. You need to start talking to your members and seeing what roles they will be comfortable doing. Because for every Speechcrafter, you need a guide, a mentor, because that person's going to be with them in between your meetings, answer questions about how to write a speech, whatever the Speechcrafter needs. During the meeting, they meet with them one-on-one to help prepare them for the next meeting, to help them prepare for their next speech. Because it's only the first meeting that the Speechcrafters do not deliver a speech. That's an introductory meeting, introductory educational presentation session. From meeting 2 through meeting 8, they are given speeches. And every meeting, the agenda gives them time, 10 minutes, to meet in a separate breakout room when I met online, so that they can interact with their Speechcrafters and the guides, and they can formulate that relationship and answer their questions. And they all found it very helpful. You need Toastmasters. You don't want to be doing everything yourself as the coordinator. Can you present an educational presentation session? Yes, but you have enough with coordinating it. Get your other Toastmasters to come and do it. And they can get credit and pathways for doing that presentation. There is a generic evaluation form that you can get. And Toastmasters even supplies it in the portal, in the Speechcraft portal. So they're telling you, give this generic evaluation to a Toastmaster so they can get credit for pathways. They're insinuating that. Don't pass up the opportunity to get credit for a pathway project. And with the generic evaluation form, you can apply to any project that you think it may fit in your path. And most of the time, it'll fit in an elective. It's a strange audience. I think there's a project in, delivering something to an unknown audience or something. That's not the exact words, but you get the gist. Then you need an evaluator for the presenter, right? What if that evaluator needs an evaluation for their level 1 completion? So you can have another Toastmaster do a written evaluation for them so they can get credit. So your members will benefit from participating. This will help tell them on their own paths. Then you need the evaluators for the speech crafters' initial speeches. The guides probably will do the evaluation for the icebreaker. Why not give another member an opportunity to evaluate them? Or if you're just having the guides, alternate the guides to evaluate the speeches. Because I said, after the icebreaker speeches, and maybe their second speech, from there on out, have the speech crafters evaluate each other. Let them get that experience, because that also counts as a project for them too. I'll show you that later. Table topics, general evaluator, timer, and I added the counter, and it was very beneficial. These are all roles that you need your fellow members to help. And if you don't have enough in your club, you have a network outside your club. Reach out to Louisa, reach out to Sherry if you need help. I'm sure they can give you Toastmasters that could help you if you don't have enough within your club. I know Louisa knows a lot about Speechcraft. She's done them herself. She's very well versed in it. This is where you get your educational material from. And it's free. It's the Better Speaker Series. It's an awesome module that Toastmasters provide. All right. These are all the topics that match up with the topics that they have to base their speeches on. And what this is the facilitator manual. Toastmasters outlines how to do the presentation. I don't recommend using the slides that come with the package. This is from 1977. So the colors on the slide are a little bit when we have these beautiful colors now. So you want to update it and put it on new slides. You don't want to use the slides that come with the package. I'll tell you that right now. And what you do is you take this material and they develop their presentation. You don't have to use everything in there. You adjust it to, presenter adjusts it to their style presenting. But it's a guide on how to put together the presentation. It is so helpful and it's free. And it matches up with the topics that they're required to talk about. As an example, this is what the facilitator guide looks like. They give you the outline. They give you step by step. And this here, they're telling you what slide this is for. I mean, how easy is it to put together a presentation when they're telling you everything, right? Over here in the lower left, I want to show you. This is a snippet. This is the resource that you are given in the Speechcraft portal behind the scenes for this presentation. It's called Introducing a Speaker. Toastmasters outlines what they want you to cover. So all you have to do is take the handout that they give you in Speechcraft, match it up to the Better Speaker Learning Program specific, and develop a presentation. Any good Toastmasters can do that. Isn't that what we do anyway? We don't do it item for item when they give us that. We put it in our own words. Well, an experienced Toastmaster is going to be able to do that and get credit for a Pathways project. And if they don't need it, tell them to save it for a future Pathway project. I have a folder for future topics, for future pathways when I've done speeches. Don't pass up the opportunity. I'll tell you, I never do.
Anne, we have
yes.
a question here. It says,
Yes.
do speech crafters take on the speaking roles and club members take on the other roles?
Yes, that's the purpose of the Speechcraft, is that they get through their speeches. Now, some clubs have suggested that what they're going to do, if they have a 2-hour session, they're going to try to work in a speech from one of their members if they wish to speak, so that they're not putting their members on hold for that 8-week period. So the idea of the Speechcraft meetings is to have the speech crafters deliver their speeches. That's what it's all about. So that when they become members, they get credit for pathways. The Speechcraft sessions is for the non-Toastmasters. That's the purpose of it. but you can have a member deliver a speech, but I would not have the members take over the meeting because the meeting is for the participants. Does that make sense, Sherry? And to the person who asked the question?
We have another question. It says, can you have guests at a Speechcraft session, or is it a closed group once it starts? What do you do if a guest from the general public wants to visit your club, but the Speechcraft workshops have already started?
Oh, I would have the guests come and attend. I would have them come and attend so they can see what it's about. I would definitely have them attend. What if you have that open slot? Slide that guest right in there because they get credit for every speech that they do. So if they don't complete all the speeches, they will get credit for whatever work they did when they become a member. Definitely.
I just want to jump in here and mention that when we started the Speechcraft for Empowering Entrepreneurs, which was a new club getting started, we started with 4 Speechcrafters. The very next week, we were 10, then 14, and finally, by midway through the program, we were 15. And so absolutely, they can join wherever they start.
Right. Right, Louisa, because then they get credit, don't they? That's the beauty of it. You don't turn a customer away. Anything else, Sherry?
Nope, that's great, Anne. Thank you. I'll just interrupt if there's some more questions. I think
Perfect.
we've answered them all now. Great.
All right, terrific, terrific. I was going nuts when I conducted my Speechcraft session trying to organize it. How am I going to keep this straight? And a light bulb went off in my brain. Use the data validation in Excel. So I opened up a blank Excel. I used tab 2 and I created a role validation sheet. Column A was all the roles that I needed for the meetings. Column C was all the dates and the session numbers. And then the next column had my educational presentation topics. And why are they in that order? Because that's what Toastmasters told me to do on the agenda. It's flexible. You can change it around. I just followed the agenda. I did what I was told. And we were covering all 8 sessions. So each project is built on the other. So I followed that. So that was tab 2. Then what did I do next? I'm like, I'm going crazy listing everybody. I'm going to share this spreadsheet and I'm going to let my member volunteers come in and select when they can help and what dates, rather than emailing me and me coming in and typing it in. Look at this. You need at least 5 volunteers for every meeting. I had 8. That's 40 roles. That's a lot of time. So I shared my spreadsheet. And by the role validation, when you come here, what you do is you have your headings up here and you select on the columns and make it a role validation. All right. So that when they come down here and click, what I did, I listed all the sessions to make it easier for them. But as you were setting it up, you can only put in here what is on the previous tab. So I can't list anything other than sessions 1 through 8 with these dates. So it makes it very simple. The other thing I have up here as a note is the guides must attend all meetings. Well, what if they can't make it, Anne? Well, you know what? We are flexible. Life happens and interrupts, but that's why they tell you 1 guide to 1 Speechcrafter. Now, for my session, I had 10. I didn't have enough guides. So I had 2 guides, 1 guide to 2 Speechcrafters. What happened when one of the guides couldn't be there? Another guide had to pick up for them during the meeting and support that Speechcrafter. So ideally, you want 1 guide for 1 Speechcrafter, because if the guide can't make a particular meeting, then you need to get another guide to step up and say, you know what, Speechcrafter B, why don't you come with A and me into the breakout room and I'll help you at this meeting. And I will inform your mentor what we've covered, and then you can connect with them after the meeting. So that's why it's important to just do one-on-one. And this way, by setting up this data validation worksheet, you save yourself a lot of time, and they can just come in and fill it in. And it worked beautifully for me, and it made my job much easier in getting members to sign up and fill out roles. And they liked the idea that they could just come in and pick and check their calendar. Quick and easy. Pathways credit. This is exciting. You want to know how you're turning these participants into members? Where do you tell them what they're going to get once they become members? Because while you're running the Speechcraft sessions, maybe not in the beginning, but beginning with session 4 or 5, you want to start promoting your club and your meetings and what Toastmaster has to offer and how important it is to continue their professional development and why, right? Because the aha moment is coming. The aha moment, the Speechcraft Toastmasters program. These are the topics that they have to develop speeches on. And if you look at them, they are the basic Toastmasters building skills for public speaking. But what they don't realize, and what we didn't realize when we began, that you're slowly developing your leadership skills by doing these projects, because you're writing your speeches and you're talking about certain subjects. And you're the expert on that subject when you're speaking about it. That's what we're always told. Right? Choose a topic, prepare to present. Now I'm going to show you how these topics translate into connecting to the pathways. What I did, before I move on, what I did for my sessions, I took the body language and the vocal variety and combined it into one speech for them. You see, there's 8 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8th session, you really don't want to have tied down and dependent upon them doing that 8th speech. So you combine the vocal variety and body language. Isn't that what Pathways does in level 1, giving you the option to do that? If you tell them they can knock out 2 speeches in 1 speech, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to do it in 1 speech, right? All right. So that's that. Louisa has this as well in some of her handouts that she delivers. So you'll see some repetition here because we all get the same information from the same place. It's just how we present it. And basically, this is how they get credit. Remember, I said they get credit for every speech that they do. Now, what I did was I took this a step further. This is also in your handout. I broke it into an Excel spreadsheet. You may take a snippet of this if you so wish. What I did was I broke it out. So their first speech is choose a topic. Well, that lines up to the icebreaker. So if they do that, they get a level 1. Their next topic is know your purpose. Doesn't that line up with writing a speech with a purpose? There's 2 speeches in level 1. Body language and vocal variety combined into 1. Gives them 3 level speeches. Now, this is where the fast track comes in. We know in level 1, that feedback and evaluation project, there are 3 projects in there. Guess what? They only have to do 1 when they complete level 1. You knock out 2 projects. And the one they have to do is the second speech. And what they have to do is they have to decide whether they're going to inform, persuade, entertain, or inspire. You see, they're typing in the type of speeches that they have to give. They're including that. They want to know if they know how to do that. This is something that they should have been doing in their 3 prior speeches. And then they need to incorporate that feedback from a prior speech. And they have to let the evaluator know what they're working on. Once they give that, what we consider feedback number 2 speech, that's their 4th speech. After 4 speeches, they are now level 1. If they stop right there and join your club, you get a DCP point, because once they become a member, they have to write Toastmasters education to let them know that they're now a member of your club. They were a Speechcraft and they want to get credit for their level 1. Of course, they have to select their path, and I advise that the Vice President of Education follow up with it. Let's say they continue. You know why I have them evaluate? Because that can count. They need to do an evaluation of a speech. You don't even have to let them know that. Just tell them they're here to evaluate. You give someone to give them a written evaluation because you may not have time in the meeting to verbally give it to them. You may do it one-on-one, depends on how you operate. They get credit for a level 2 introduction to Toastmasters mentoring. And if you think about it, isn't evaluating sort of like mentoring someone on their speech, even though it's our opinion? We're telling them what we thought they did well, what they may need to work on, and what we think a good challenge would be for them. So it makes sense that Toastmasters line that up to mentoring, right? So now they're level 1 and they have one required project in level 2. They do their next speech, powerful words. Word choice, that's your descriptive language elective in level 3. Prepare to present. They have to incorporate lessons that they've learned in presenting a speech and to do a presentation. Now, once they complete all 7 of these, even though it's 8 speeches, when they join your club, they will get a level 1 credit completion. They will get credit for 1 required project in level 2. What do they have to do in level 2 to complete it? Only the 2 remaining required projects, understanding communication and leadership. They will have completed both electives in a level 3. Checkbox gone. What do they have to do in level 3? Only the 1 required project. Don't you think they could do 3 speeches in 4 months and increase your DCP points? Yeah. Do you think that's going to create excitement in your club? Don't you think your members are going to be, whoa, wait a minute. They're coming in with a level 1. They got a credit for a level 2 and they got their electives credit. And where am I? And you want to talk that up? You want to create excitement in your club? Come on. When people are hitting the mark, don't you celebrate it? You want to make a big celebration of that and inspire your members. I love it. I don't know, but I get excited. I'm sorry. I'm a passionate Toastmasters and I get excited and I talk it up. And guess what? It gets the other members excited too. All right, let's move on. I'm going to stop here for questions because we're hitting towards the tail end of everything. So let's see if we have any questions. Any questions?
I think we're getting some. Can you use pathways such as develop communication plans, public relations strategies, building a social media presence, planning and implementing, etc., to help plan your marketing of the Speechcraft?
Good idea. Excellent idea. Put that in the chat. They put that in chat. Everybody has it. Save the chat so you get all these great ideas. Whoever gave that information, that is awesome. Yes, you can. And what kind of recognition? Go ahead.
And what kind of recognition does a Speechcrafter get if they complete the 8-week program but don't actually join the club?
Everybody gets a certificate of participation, whether they do 1 speech or whether they do all the speeches and come to all the sessions. And it's in the portal. They can activate it themselves and get it after you approve it. But as the coordinator at the end, what you want to do is have a celebratory meeting, either at that 8th meeting or have another meeting and give everybody their certificates and recognize them for their achievements. And we know what recognition does, right? You recognize them. They still may not want to join, but they're going to cherish that Speechcraft certificate and they're going to cherish the accolades and they're going to remember the positivity. And you don't know if down the road that they just may come back to your club. And if they don't, that's okay. But you've built that community and you put that feel-good story out for them and they're going to be raving about you. And that's what it's about. Word of mouth, spread it by word of mouth. You never know what's going to come back by your good deeds. Any other questions, Sherry? Any other comments?
That's it for now, but we'll keep on, keep putting them in the chat and we'll catch your questions at the end.
Okay. And you did put in the chat the participant quick start guide and the coordinator quick start guide, right?
Yes, they're PDFs
okay.
for people to download.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, let's move on. Resources and gathering. This is what I did. How are you going to keep this all together? Believe it or not, even as VPE, I have to tell professional new members that they need to create a folder on their computer for Toastmasters and to create subfolders so that they can quickly find things. It's just not something people think about. So you need to create folders to organize your Speechcraft. And this is what I did. And I'm going to show you what I did on my Explorer, File Explorer. Over here on the left, this was my 2023 Speechcraft project. And within that folder, I created all these subfolders. Why? I want to be able to quickly retrieve things. As I told you, behind the portal, there are coordinator instructions. Well, I didn't want to put them all over the place. I wanted to organize them. So everything that I downloaded or I created, and I created PowerPoints from all that information. I have everything in PowerPoints. Because guess what? Once your session is over and those 90 days are done, all that information is gone from you. You have access to nothing. This is valuable information you want to keep as reference material for yourself. All right, so Speechcraft Coordinator instructions in there. Speechcraft, there's guides instructions actually behind the portal for you on the gateway. And that gave me the idea to create my own Speechcraft guides. I wrote a handout for guides. I even wrote a guide to let the Speechcrafters know in the beginning how the meeting would run. And that's also in your handout, just to give you an idea. I put that in there. Speechcraft session resources. I told you they give you oodles and oodles of resources. Put them all in there and numbered them. And then all the templates. They give you templates for the 4, the 6, and the 8 session. Downloaded them all. Why'd I do that? The 8 session has all of them. Yes, but the 4 sessions, Toastmaster gives you an idea of what to cover in the 4. If I don't have to figure it out for myself, I can save myself time. I'm going to follow what Toastmaster tells me to cover in the 4 sessions, telling me what to cover in the 6 sessions. That saves you time. It makes you more efficient. Then what I did was I created subfolders for each of my sessions. You think I'm coming back in here to get all this stuff when I'm preparing for my meeting? I'm going to do that ahead of time. Because they tell you what you need for each session. They tell you session 1, you're going to do this educational presentation. Session 1, this is your agenda. These are your instructions for session 1 as the coordinator. These are your instructions as session 1 guide. Put them all in there. Put all the resources in there and the evaluation forms that as you move on to the different sessions for the different speeches that the speech crafters have to do. So that if they have technical issues and can't retrieve it when they're ready to do their speech in the portal, you have the resource that you can send it right to them. And there's no hiccup in your program. You want to be prepared for everything. You want to be the backup resource in case they can't get it. And the certificates, I downloaded every one of the certificates and even my certificate. Because at the end, you get a certificate for being the Speechcraft coordinator, and you want to download and save that. You know what I thought? I better save it for proof. Right? I don't want Toastmasters to lose it. So after my session was completed, I wrote to Toastmasters and gave them proof of my certificate. They were so nice. I love working with headquarters. They're so nice to me. I just love them. They give me so much answers. They said to me, no problem, Toastmaster Golden. I love it. That's how they refer to you by your last name. No problem, Toastmaster Golden. You didn't need to give us that. We already gave you credit. But I heard horror stories of people that couldn't get their DTM because Toastmasters lost materials in the system. So download everything and save it. And I got feedback. I put it in there. Save it. It's your permanent record, and it helps you when you come to run these sessions to be organized and you're ready to go. You're ready to go. You have your educational Better Speaker Series, education series in here. You can send it to the person that's presenting, and you have that all in there. What I did for my presenters for the educational materials, even though they were seasoned Toastmasters, they were doing me a favor. So I looked at the materials that was given, and I said, well, let me see if I can find anything else. And I researched. You know, you can Google anything on the face of the earth, and you can get whatever you need. And I researched my own materials, and I gave them some things that I had. Maybe they had it, they didn't, but they appreciated the effort I did in giving them additional information if they needed it. And I don't know if they used it or not, but I gave it to them in case they could use it to put their presentation together. They were doing me a favor. Think of that. They're doing you a favor. Help them succeed and make it easy for them to do that presentation. You will be valued so much. Oh, and the other thing, send them a thank you note after they do their presentation. I did that for every one of my educational presenters. I sent them a thank you note. And at the and it was personalized. Did I do it on the computer? Yes. You go out to Google, you Google those thank you cards, you can get the fancy cover. You can even do it in Canva now. And then you put a text box inside and you write your own personal message. Make it a fancy font, like you put some effort into it, and date it and sign it. And I even did it for my guides at the end of the session. I thanked them all. That little touch, it means a lot. People like to feel appreciated. Don't you like to feel appreciated? Well, do that for your volunteers and do it for your members that come to help you. I did that after every meeting. All my volunteers got a thank you note. This here is the new view for the Speechcraft Coordinator Basecamp portal. Now, my access limits me because I haven't bought a new bundle. However, because I'm a previous coordinator, I can go in and access the agendas. But I wanted to show you because they've updated the navigation to make it much easier, similar to what they've done with our Pathways portal. And if you look over here on the left, it's the same navigation panel, the Speechcraft Learner. What's important for you as the coordinator is the coordinator tracking. This is where you're going to go to see that your Speechcrafters completed their projects. And there'll be steps in there for you to do to validate. It's very important that you validate that they've completed their speech because that is the only way they get credit. So, and you have to make sure it's done before the 90 days is out. I did it after every time they spoke. I had them go in and mark their project complete, just like we have to in the portal. Have them go in and mark it complete. And then you as the coordinator have to go in and approve it. And they call it validating. That's what they used to call under the old system. I'm going to ask Louisa in a minute if she has access to the new portal and if she knows anything different. But before I do that, I want to come in here. And this is where your learning resources are. This is the main menu that the Speechcrafter sees. And you'll see the topics that I showed you earlier. They're the same ones here. What you want to pay attention to when you're in this screen, you see this resource over here on the right? I know it's a little blurred, but it's highlighted with a yellow box. When you click on that, all the resources pertinent to that particular menu item will pop up. And you want to download them and save them to your computer. They have a resource for every session in your coordinator guide when you go through that. The Speechcrafters have the same thing. They'll have this resource button to click on, and then the evaluation resource for this will pop up for them and they can download it. So that's what I wanted to show you for that. Now, Louisa, have you bought a new Speechcraft bundle?
No, I don't have it either.
So you're like me, you're in the dark.
Yeah.
Okay. But from what I understand, it's very straightforward navigating now. Everything that you need is going to be right there for you. Under the old way, you could go to several different places to get your resources. What I understand now, it's going to be very direct. All your resources are going to be in one place for each thing that you need. And are you or are you not ready to launch your Speechcraft? I want to see in chat who is going to be interested in launching a Speechcraft. And if you are, you have awesome district leaders who are here to help you. Number one contact is Tara LeDuc. She couldn't be here tonight. She sent her apologies. She's sorry she's missing it. She sent you that awesome email promoting this. She is your Speechcraft support chair. Number two, Louisa. Louisa knows Speechcraft. She has presentations on it. She knows her stuff. She's your other contact. And you have your program quality director, Sherry, who is working in unison with those other two. You need to be in contact with those people, and they will help you through this. You have awesome leadership here in District 96. That's all I can say. Awesome, awesome leadership. Do I see smiles on people's faces?
Yeah, Anne, and we have some questions. Thank you. Just to let everybody know, I've posted all the PDFs into the chat again. They're not new ones. They're just posted from before, but we did have some people pop in a little bit later. Yes, questions. Can the Speechcraft coordinator or coordinators see the program information that the participants receive?
Yes. You even get slides so that you can help them through the process. You get coordinator training and you get Speechcrafter learning training. You get your own slides for coordinator, and then you get to see what they need to do so that you can help them through the process. And it's a step-by-step guide. Is it not, Louisa? Isn't it awesome?
Yeah. Now somebody says, now this is from Petra, how would that work when working on another platform? And I'm not entirely sure what that means, Petra. So maybe you could just elaborate on that. And then Donna is a Speechcraft coordinator, and she says she's not seeing anything that you're showing her on the screen. So I'm assuming that she is in the new system.
She is not seeing anything I am showing her on the screen.
Donna,
give me my presentation.
Donna, can you give me a call later on, at maybe tomorrow, and then we can share screen and just go through it individually with you. You would need to have registered your Speechcraft, and then you go into the Speechcraft coordinator part of the system. And in there is a toggle to go in to see what the actual Speechcrafters are seeing in their portal portion. So it's a little, I haven't seen the new system, but I will help you through that.
Yeah, Louisa will be able to do that. The work in teams. Why won't it work in teams?
Maybe I can answer that.
Signing into Speechcraft is not working in Teams. So how could
you're going to be signing in on a web browser to get materials. Your interface, whether you're using Zoom or Teams or you're doing it in person, that is separate and it is not mutually exclusive.
That's right. That's right. You're going to go into the browser to download your materials. Then you're going to be in a presentation mode like I was to do your presentation in Teams.
Yeah, and I guess maybe I'll just elaborate on that. It's just going into the Toastmasters website. So when you go into your account, you have to open up a browser, go into toastmasters.org, and then you're getting your materials through there.
Yeah. And then you go to the Education tab, and then you go to the Speechcraft tab, and then you can access the gateway from within toastmasters.org if that's the way you want to do it. Is that what you're trying to tell them, Sherry?
Yes. Yeah. Because I think the question was they can't access Speechcraft in Teams, but you're just going to the website to get your materials, and then you download them onto your computer is what you were talking about. And another question.
I can answer that just a little bit further. Sorry.
Sure.
Just like when you're usually using Pathways, you log into toastmasters.org in Pathways, and you get the information and the materials, the evaluation forms, etc. The way that you're communicating with the club when you're online might be Teams, it might be Zoom, etc. So it's exactly the same. It's just a different portal for Speechcraft than it is for the pathways. And there is a shortcut to get in there, and that is speechcraft.toastmasters.org. And once you have logins for the Speechcraft program, once you bought the digital bundles and your people are registered within the system, they can access it through that shortcut as well.
That's right. And to register them, you have to enter them into the portal. You have to enter in their name and email. You have to add them to the portal in Speechcraft. And then they will get an email notifying them that they have to click on this link to register. That's how they get access to the portal. You as the coordinator have to enter them in with their email, and then they'll get the email, and then they have to come in, and you'll have to follow up with them to make sure that they register.
Do you
And
know?
that's how they'll get access.
Okay. Do you know if the Speechcraft, do you know if the program is mobile friendly?
Ooh, Louisa, have you had any experience with mobile?
It should be, but I have not had access to the most recent Speechcraft version because that would have only been launched end of October. I believe it was launched at the same time as Pathways in a mobile-friendly version. Also want to mention that one of the Speechcrafts that I did was an in-person only Speechcraft. It was fantastic. Everybody was happy to be back together again. And what we did was we made photocopies of the various handouts, the materials as we did each session. So they got an agenda and they also got tip sheets and handouts and ideas, worksheets that they could use for their next speech, things like that. So that was handed out physically to the participants. And we made copies for our club members while we were at it as well.
And do you know if the material for better speakers is included in this digital bundle?
It's free. That's why you have the link. And one of the documents that's included in the handout, I put together a list of all the links that I am aware of that you need. It's all in one document. And if you click on it, it'll take you right there. You have to go out to the store, and that's why I gave you the item number. And they're out there in the store and they're free. And you just have to download them. I think it's 8626 is the number. So if you go and search, or you just type in better speakers in the search series, if you don't want to go into the document and hit the link, and Sherry did put the link in chat, it's free. All you have to do is download the bundle. It's free. I have all the modules. I have the successful series, the excellent series, and I had them from years ago, and now they're starting to charge you for them. I was sorry I didn't download them all to that one Beyond Thinking or something like that. I'm like, I had that. Now I got to pay for it. But they have all the modules. So go down and download the Better Speaker series, the Excellent series, the Successful Club series. Those modules are powerful. If you have a struggling club, take a look at them. There might be something in there you can use to help motivate your members and your officers and your clubs just to give a different perspective. Heck, it doesn't hurt to do that once a quarter, even in successful clubs, just to change it up a bit for a meeting. They give you, oh my God, we don't utilize all the resources. The only complaint I have about Toastmasters, they don't tell you when they update stuff. You have to find it on your own. That's all. That's my only complaint. They put updated material out there and they don't tell you. So just like the Officer Club Manual, training's coming, right? We're in the middle of training. They updated 10/24. They didn't tell you that. So unless you go out and check, you don't know. That's my only complaint about Toastmasters. Other than that, I don't have any complaints. They give you all the resources you need. You just need to access them and use them. The clubs that do, they're successful. If you're excited, your members can't help but be excited. If you're enthralled with Pathways, you don't let those naysayers take over your meetings. You quiet them by your enthusiasm, by promoting members that are doing it. Let them sit on the side. Let them feel lonely. Get everybody in the party and let them sit by the side. Pathways is an awesome program. It is so built for the professional world, but also personally. Who doesn't need project planning? I wish I had that project years ago. It might have helped my professional career. I knew nothing about project planning. Speechcraft is all about project planning. If I was in the workforce today, I would feel so confident to go to my manager and say, you know what? I know how to do project planning. I want to do it on your next project because that's what it is. You're organizing, you're coordinating, you're planning, you're plotting, you're scheduling, you're doing timelines. I don't need a fancy grid to do a timeline like they do in that Java or whatever that program is. Just use your brain and your Excel spreadsheet. You are gaining so many skills by working these projects and pathways, and they're all different. And you gain so many different skills. Question and answers, leading a question and answers, like leading a debate. Come on, get excited, get your members excited, and Speechcraft can do it. I'm sorry, I went off the tangent from Speechcraft into something else. I'm sorry, I apologize. I just get so excited. Sorry, Sherry and Louisa.
Oh, no, excitement is great. I've allowed you to unmute yourselves, and if people want to put up their hand, I think Anne is willing to take some more questions if you have any.
All right, Sarah Davies says, guides, mentors, and members have access to the portal. Guides and members do not. You have to get the information, the resources that they need, and give it to them. Speechcrafters and the coordinator do. Now, one key thing I forgot to mention, how are you going to do all this in 2 hours if you're going to give your members a chance to speak? Icebreakers are only 3 to 4 minutes. Regular speeches that we have 5 to 7, they're only 3 to 5. Table topics, if you don't hit a minute, we say, oh, come on, try to reach the green. They only have to reach the green in 30 seconds. 30, 60, and 90 seconds is the time for table topics. So you can get in quite a few speeches. You can actually do 5 icebreakers, only 2 to 3 minutes. If you get 5 participants, that's 15 minutes in a 2-hour meeting. You have plenty of time to give a member a chance to speak. But you know what? If they want to speak, let them do the educational presentation. 8 to 10 minutes. They'll get credit for an elective that they can use down the road. That's the beauty of it. It's a shortened, fast-track program. And you keep promoting that they're going to be joining their club. And you don't tell them, you call it a tuition. You don't tell them fees. You don't tell them you charge them a 6-month membership fee. It's a tuition. And as you get closer to the end, you tell them they have the opportunity to continue this development for 6 months with your club. And if they decide not to join your club, that's okay. That money stays with your club. If they decide to join another club, well, guess what? You got to pay membership dues at the other club. You don't want to get into that gray area. That's where you can use the money for fundraising. Oh, you tell them they got free 6-month membership, and they can come and improve on their skills. And after 8 weeks, they're going to love you. They are going to love you, especially if you're warm and engaging and exciting. And if they want to be Toastmasters, they're going to join your club. That's why you're building community. What's the other question?
And I wanted to just jump in and mention that if you have a lot of speech crafters in a club and maybe it's a 1-hour meeting, what you can do is divide people into smaller groups and have them go to breakout rooms if you're meeting in person, or breakout rooms online. And what we did is had the speech crafters, you might have 5 of them giving speeches, and they're each evaluating the next person, and you have your guides or your mentors, your people from the club, timer, chair, and giving general evaluations on the 5 speeches. And that way, if you're doing them simultaneously in 3 different spaces, you can get through a lot more. That club that I talked about earlier, where we had 15 speech crafters, we did more than 60 speeches in an 8-week period. Actually, technically in a 7-week period, because the first week they're not giving icebreakers on the first week, right? And it was just phenomenal.
Okay, that's being innovative and flexible and figuring out how to work the program to get done what you need to do. And that's what Toastmasters does. It provides guidance. It never tells you you have to do it strictly this way. You are free as the coordinator to conduct it. And the way Louisa did it was beautiful. To get 15 people through in 8 weeks is phenomenal. She did a phenomenal job. Any other questions? Louisa, do you have any other insight you would like to share with the group?
I think there's a question from France. France.
Okay. How does it work to get existing members join as speech crafters? Okay. No, you don't charge the member for joining Speechcraft. You may charge them the minimum $10. That would be up to the club to decide if they want to do that. But you wouldn't charge them extra. You would just charge them for the cost of the bundle, or if the club has enough funds, they could cover it. It really would be up to your executive committee, since they're already paying the 6 months membership due.
Yeah.
I would just slide them into the slot. What does Louisa and Sherry feel about that?
I would
Yeah.
say don't even have them sign up for Speechcraft. They've already got the majority and then some of the material in the Pathways program. If they're in the meeting, absolutely give them photocopies of the various handouts because they're covering that content as an existing member, and they may be helping out as mentors and guides. I don't think you necessarily need to have them sign up for Speechcraft. If they are a beginner member in your club, brand new, sure, you could sign them up for Speechcraft. That would be fine. But there doesn't seem to be a point really for more advanced speakers, people that are in level, even that have completed a level 1
Right.
for them to join at that point.
That's right. It's for brand new members to fill a slot. Brand new. They haven't even been in Pathways. You don't want them starting their path. You want them just starting. And guess what? We can fast track you over here. Why don't you come into this for 6 weeks?
Yeah. A lot
We're
of
going to
people,
show up the other members. Add some competition to it, right, Louisa and Sherry?
Yeah.
Add some competition. Friendly
Yeah.
competition is always fun.
and I think that the idea of it being an accelerated course is very attractive to people because they don't want to necessarily see the progress in a year from now, and time is limited. They want to see the value right away. With a 6 or 8 week course, that's enough time to feel like, okay, I'm going to put my feet in here, try it, see how it goes, and that they can commit. And really, from the second meeting onwards, you could have people sign just the first and second pages of the membership form. The dues, the tuition is already included with their Speechcraft experience. And so they only have to fill in the first 2 pages of the membership form. That's a no-brainer once you've already
That's right.
had a taste of the program.
And with the new online feature that Toastmasters is coming, they can fill it out themselves online. Start using that new feature. If you're meeting in person and you want to get them right on the spot, yes, use the printed copy of the application. But Toastmasters, you go into that, they have access to go in and add your own information. Promote that too.
Well, this has been a fantastic session, and thank you for helping us learn how to do this. I mean, it's always that's the first thing for a speech crafter, right? Is to figure out, oh, if I'm a coordinator, how am I going to do this? Oh, it sounds like a lot of work. Oh, I don't even know where to begin. And you've taken us step by step on all the way through. It's been fantastic. Everybody, give your love to Anne. Put it in the chat. Unmute yourself. Feel free to thank her for a wonderful session.
Thank you so much for having me. Really, it's been an honor and a privilege, and it's been so wonderful to meet Sherry and Louisa personally, to connect with them in a meeting, and to meet each and every one of you. I wish you much success. It really is Toastmasters' best kept secret, and we need your help to undo that. We want it to become Toastmasters' best known program outside of our Toastmasters Club. And there was something else I was going to say. I forget what it was. I can't think of it now. Must have been that important, when you forget it. But no, it's been wonderful to be here. And I wish you much success. It is the way to go. Yes, the PDF files, they will be sent when they send the video out.
Yeah.
Because they'll send it to everybody that's registered. Am I right, Louisa?
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Anne. You were fabulous. And I know that we all
Thank
have
you.
so much excitement for this program. I'm looking forward to seeing dozens of clubs in the District 96, and we've got representation from District 2, District 39 in this call as well. I'm sure that they're going to be rolling this out and evangelizing the program. We have been recording. We will be posting the recording on the District 96 YouTube site and in our resources section under videos in the District 96 Toastmasters.ca. So D96 Toastmasters.ca website. It'll probably be a week or so. There is some minor editing, and we will have links to all the handouts on there as well.
Oh,
Thank
that's awesome.
you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Have a great night, everyone. It was a pleasure to meet you all. And thank you again, Louisa and Sherry.